Hey guys, episode 4 of Off the Rim. Joe Healy and Evan Goldback are with you.
We are back.
How's the week been?
It's been a good week. Had Persian New Year over the
How was it?
over the weekend, which was great. Yeah, celebrating that. Obviously,
Do we dare tell people that you missed game 1 of the Championship Series for this?
well, I mean, it was on in the background, and I don't think I missed
Did
my.
you get in trouble for constantly checking?
Not really, because I mean, it was such a blowout. What?
You didn't miss.
I didn't miss anything. To be honest, if it was a really close match, I would have been really gutted. But 20-point game at halftime. Kings showing Adelaide, I guess, who's boss.
Looking forward to the pod today. We've got Jason Cadee coming on, who used to play for both Adelaide and Sydney. So preview game 2 and 3. Game 2 should be played tonight.
Well, it should be.
The fact that there's such a big break.
No, way too much of a gap. I'm interested to see if Adelaide bounces back. Obviously,
Every choice. It's almost like it's hit rock bottom. The only way they can go is up.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Bryce, I think, was going to show us the MVP that he is. Obviously, we want to see a long, close series. I know you want to see a long, close series. But yeah, and then a whole bunch of other things I can't wait to get into.
Yeah, no, we have a lot of fun today. Jason started working with the NBL, so I knew him, fairly well prior to him coming in. But he's been an absolute joy to work with. Truthfully, you would have felt it when he came in. He's just got such good energy. Clearly a lovely guy. Was an awesome teammate. You can tell. Watching him interact with players over the course of this season, you can tell people just loved having him on their team.
You can see it, obviously in person, and obviously when I've seen him commentating at games. Really humble guy. Obviously only just recently removed out of the NBL, but got close relationships with all the players and coaches. But I feel like sometimes when people get into media, they think they have to be something that they're not, and I feel like Jace is really authentic, really real.
Definitely.
And like I said, and what I found was really humble, but some great insights as well.
Great insights, a lot of fun. Biggest basketball ick?
Biggest basketball ick. We've got a new game today. We're doing Who Am I? So get ready to play at home on that one.
Mm-hmm. No, looking forward to it. Should we get into it?
Let's do it.
All right. 15-year NBL vet, now 1 year removed, killing it in business and media. Jace, how you doing?
I'd love to say I'm killing it, but I appreciate that. No, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You've been everywhere in the last 12 months. You've been on Sunrise, hanging out with Fisher, interviewing Angel Reese. What is life like at the moment?
This is what it looks like when you say yes to everything and trying to figure it out.
Sounds like you, Joe. You're everywhere.
Busy, yeah.
But it's been good. Like I retired from basketball, but I'm still so heavily involved. I didn't know what it was going to look like when I retired because I kind of said yes to doing the step one and business thing, and then other things pop up, and I was like, yeah, sure. Now I'm actually getting to the point where I'm like,
oh shit.
Maybe no. Maybe I have to say no. But I'm enjoying it. It's been cool.
Do you miss playing?
Not really. I missed, like, when we did some of the games and we were doing the pre-game or something and you see the teams getting ready to go out.
Yeah.
I miss those moments. I think I now watch the game and I'm like, oh, I couldn't play in there anymore, even though it's just been a year. I look at it and go like, nah, you'd be terrible out there. So
yeah, I kind of feel that. It's like some players, as soon as they're done, they're like, no, I'm good. I don't need to play again. And then other players are like, nah, I really miss it. I miss the camaraderie. Well, it sounds like you found a really good space.
I think it helps that I made the decision.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of people I played with get to say this time of the year, free agency's about to start, nothing comes.
Right.
Go a month later, nothing comes. Goes a month later, now we're June, July, and they're like, I guess we're done. And so I'd seen, and when I say, I mean from people that played for Australia to people who played for just a couple of years. Like I'd watched so many people go through that. So,
well, talk to us a bit more about that process. So obviously, most players got a manager, and obviously around this time when the NBL finishes, a lot of guys go NBL 1, they go to New Zealand, they go to other leagues around the world. So how far out in advance do you normally get the tap on the shoulder, hey, we're looking at you for another league?
That starts as soon as they start to get an idea. It can start early, like a lot of leagues try and do it real early and come November, but a lot of players don't know what they're doing then. If you're off contract, am I staying where I am? And then as it gets over Christmas, January, it all starts to pick up. And then especially for overseas leagues, once they start to see that you might be finishing soon, that's when it ramps up because they go from, we don't know when he's going to finish, to, oh, he could be done in 2 weeks. We
Yeah.
want you out 2 days after that last game.
Gotcha.
So it does, like, for all those guys over the last 3-4 weeks, it really would have picked up once they knew they were getting near the end. And then you'd see all the Kings in Adelaide guys. They'd have everything lined up now.
Is there anywhere that you wish you got the chance to play?
No, not really. Like, everyone always, like, I get asked a lot, where was my favourite?
Mhm.
And they all had Gold Coast. I loved because it was like my starting journey. It was almost like my college experience in a way.
Mm.
I was 18, living on the Gold Coast, out at home playing basketball. I had an injury that happened, but
Living his best life.
What kind of injury did you have? Was it on,
Well-
on the court or off?
well, a pelvis one. But it was from a truck accident, not what you
I've had
think.
so many pelvis accidents on the Gold Coast. Honestly, it's really bad up
Having
there.
goal back is early.
But no, like I loved my time in Adelaide. Sydney was really cool for me because I had the choice to come to Sydney when I first left AIS, but I just had this feeling like, nah, going back to Sydney's not right yet. And maybe I was still young and it was the Kings and I grew up with the Razorbacks, so maybe
Did you?
my dad was a CEO.
There you go. All
So-
right.
Dad
So,
used to run around and like rebound for D-Rug.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, because I used to go to the Whitlam Leisure Centre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's where I
that-
basically lived.
Yeah, and so I did my work experience there. So I went the whole, Razorback experience, and yeah, it's a shame that I would love to have 2 Sydney teams again.
Well, I think that's probably next too when you talk about expansion. Like I think Sydney's big enough to have it. The one thing that has changed, and you guys would both know this, back then Sydney was in the Kings were in the city,
Entertainment Centre.
Yeah.
and the Razorbacks were the West team.
Yeah.
Now technically the Kings play in the West, even though that's pretty much the centre of Sydney, but that's essentially the West. So where does a new team play? Do they go further west? Do they now play out of the city? Like I said to someone the other day, imagine the Kings being the team from the West.
Or is it like the Clippers Lakers?
Maybe, and maybe that is it.
That could be it. I mean, it's the best stadium in the country for basketball.
They'd have to both use kudos, wouldn't they?
I would say
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no other arenas right now you could really use.
No, for
But
sure.
I think it gets interesting. Like I think we can. I know a lot of people are somewhat against it, but I think we've seen if we can get to 11 or 12 teams, I think that's our sweet spot.
Mm.
And we've seen clubs going from strength to strength, which I think is a great thing.
Yep. Prefacing this by saying we're recording this on a Wednesday. Why are we not preparing for game 2 tonight? What on earth is going on? Why
feels
are
like
we waiting until Friday?
It just feels like it's 2 weeks between games.
It's
It's
insane.
ridiculous.
I mean, it won't. I don't think it'll impact the Kings. It'll help Adelaide. But seriously, it feels like we're missing a trick by not playing tonight.
Venues is the only thing that makes it make sense.
Need to find out who's at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre tonight.
Yeah.
What did you make of that game 1 doozy?
Yeah, I mean, it was a beatdown. I'll be honest, I thought Sydney were going to win comfortably. I just thought Adelaide coming off game 3 and just how that series had so many turns,
Mm.
it was almost like they'd won something.
Mhm.
Where I felt like Sydney were like, we just got the business, we won 2 games, now move on to the next.
Yep.
So I always felt the quick turnaround, it was never going to favour Adelaide. The one thing the 5-6 day break does benefit is Adelaide.
They can reset.
They can reset, but I just thought Sydney are too good. They are too good at the moment. Like Adelaide have some. You won't discount Adelaide because they have Bryce Cotton. We all know that, but I just see it's going to be really hard for them to turn this series around because Sydney are they're so stacked. They're playing so well together, and they just keep coming in waves.
Mm.
And I think that's hard.
When you have a big loss like that, and we've seen that in NBA finals, we've seen it in other matches, in the Premier League where one team will lose big, but then the next game they'll come back. Do you think is it more of a positive for the Kings to win by so much, or is it more of a negative for Adelaide to get blown out by so much?
This is going to sound terrible to say in a way, but losing by 40 is almost better than losing by 2.
I agree.
Because the heartbreaks.
There's no emotional
Well,
attachment.
by
It's still
halfway
it's
through,
only one loss. One loss is one
exactly,
loss.
and
Yeah.
by halfway through the third quarter, you know the game's over.
Yeah.
You're still trying,
They were down. They were up by 17 with 7 minutes to go in the second.
but that's what I'm
The only
saying. Like,
people invested were like, I got Adelaide plus 10 in the second half on Sportsbet. That's the only people that were invested in the game.
but no, that's the thing. I think for them, that group, like, you get to a point in a basketball game where you're still trying and you're still trying, but you know the game's over.
Mm.
And so 17, you'd still be thinking we can come back from this. Once it gets to 25-30 and gets later,
yeah.
a lot of those guys, you can't check out, but you are like, okay, well, this is done. We'll move on to game 2.
Yeah.
So I think in a way, getting belted like that, I don't think Sydney will drop the fences in terms of think we're just home, but I think they would have been over that game by third quarter and got back to the hotel, showered, and been like, oh, we've already moved on from it.
You've played for both of these teams. Do you support anyone? Do you care who wins at any point, or are you just watching on as a fan?
No, I find myself more watching on as a fan. Like, even in Adelaide, watching the Adelaide Southeast game, like, a part of me felt miserable for Sobes because they were after him, the crowd, and he didn't play that well.
Yeah.
So I was so torn, but then I was so happy for Adelaide. Like, I kind of find myself going for the people that I have good relationships with. Because I played for Adelaide the last 2 years, like, there was some tough times in that individually and team-wise. But I did feel like they were just a place ready to win, and I think they deserved it. Like, their crowds deserved it. Like, we sold out for 1.5 straight years, and we were awful for 1 year. Like, we were terrible. And then the second year, we had so much going on, but we were at least winning some games. But they sold out every game. And it was very different, the Adelaide crowd, to what I experienced 14, 13 years ago. Completely different vibe. And I just was like, those kind of places, you want to see them do well, because now we're going to watch sellout game 2, go back to Sydney, probably another 15,000.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of stuff we want in finals.
It feels like there's always drama around Adelaide. There's always, like, the last few years, and it kind of makes them a must-watch team. So it's kind of, yes, there's drama, but, you got Montrez, you got, obviously, KD leaving, you got Bryce Cotton there now. What a huge move from the Wildcats. So it's almost like they're this big drama, but they're drama, but there's also must-watch at the same time, which ironically makes it good for the NBL, but for the fans, it just... They must be they're going to be fever pitch.
We just need all of these must-watch players to actually step up and support their superstar, because he can't do it on his own.
That is obvious. I mean, it's because Sydney can throw so much at him.
I said last year, I was like, we should turn this into Drive to Survive. Where's our doggo? You think that's must watch? You should have watched this. It would have been, even for women, it would have been the most viewed live reality show you've ever seen.
You should have just had a GoPro on the whole time.
How much, without giving away too many details that you can't obviously talk about and stuff, how much of what went down is actually public, and how much is still sort of stayed behind closed doors?
Yeah, there was a lot that was public, because some of it happened in front of people that for sure they're going to go talk about it. There was a lot that no one saw. So everyone tries to keep things in-house, but this day and age, it's so hard. You go tell a mate, or you tell someone, they tell it's out. So some people even, like, they don't mean to spread it, but they'll just be talking naturally to someone at lunch, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And so...
Well, the best thing about this show is that you can say whatever you want, and
it doesn't go anywhere.
It doesn't go anywhere. It's only
Judgment-free zone.
Only 50,000 views on socials. It's going nowhere.
Perfect. That's exactly what we're after. This is a safe space.
Very safe space.
So who is winning on Friday night?
I think Sydney.
Series over then, right?
I think so, but I do think it's not going to be game 1. So I think everyone can remove game 1. Adelaide will come out ready to go. Adelaide, if they can win this, if they win game 2, I believe they have a chance to get it to a game 5. Because I think they can hold home court twice.
Yep.
But if I think they will lose game 2 though, which means game 3 done.
Who's you've played obviously Cadee and Bryce. Who was harder to guard?
Very different. Bryce is a lot of movement. And you knew there was always things coming, screens off the ball, and he was always moving. So, like, you try to take something away, he would back cut you. Mm-hmm. You try, and he had the ability to get really hot from 3 quickly. And then, obviously, the way he shoots the ball, contesting was really hard. Mm-hmm. Katie's so different because he's so much with the ball. Not that Bryce isn't, but Cadee with the ball. Cadee with the ball is probably a better scorer than Bryce, if we're being honest. Just his ability to get mid-range 3 at the ring. He's so fast. He's strong. Different scorers. But I think Bryce's ability to get super hot from 3 is what changes everything, because he can get off the ball, on the ball, weak side stuff. Like, he just is constantly a threat. Mm-hmm. But KD is so fast, and His mid-range game, we seen it with Jerome Randall years ago. Jerome's mid-range game was elite, and people used to go, oh, but it's arguably his best shot. KD is the same. His mid-range game is really what unlocks the rest of it. If he starts making those, then his 3-ball follows, and then good luck.
I think you've been talking a little bit about the GOAT conversation in the NBL of late.
Well, on my show, we
Shout out.
shout out, cut to the Jace.
Yeah.
But we were talking about. I had Drewy on the show, and then I had Bryce on. I think it was back-to-back weeks.
Wow.
Not planned. Not planned. But the conversation, and that might have been pre-MVP night, was just like for ages. Now listen, people get so angered by it, like it's a big deal. Who cares? You either like Kobe's my favorite player.
Yeah.
Not LeBron, not Jordan. He's actually my top player.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for us now in Australia, Andrew Gaze has always been and will always be the best Australian-born player.
Mm-hmm.
But now in terms of the NBL, Bryce maybe next year catches up to him as a 7-time MVP. How can you not now have that exact same conversation that we have with those guys?
Yeah.
It's a good conversation to have. I mean, everyone loves those debates, Jordan versus LeBron or Kobe, and this is it's great that someone's got to that Gaze level.
Totally.
Yes.
Well, I also didn't realise, probably naive of me, but Drury has 2 chips.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce has already got 3.
Yeah.
So catches him in the MVP vote. And in terms of that MJ LeBron conversation, that's really the difference there, or the lasting difference.
And
I've already
arguably,
got him.
even Drew would say this, they probably should have won more than they did, considering who they had.
They were stacked.
That's what I'm saying.
They were stacked.
So
yeah.
think about the judgment people get this day and age
Yeah.
with social media and everything.
Oh.
That wasn't
How
around
can
back
you
then.
judge Drury, though?
I love him.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
The funny
He's
thing
just
is,
a big friendly giant.
he's a big friendly giant, but he was a killer.
He was so
He
good.
was an absolute killer on the court. And yeah, even speaking to guys that played against him, I was like, yeah, don't get fooled by the smile. He was an absolute beast.
Oh, yeah. And even now, when I played with the Kings, I often tell people I hung out with him and Copes more than I hung out with the playing group. And I wasn't older by then. I was only mid-20s, but we get to the
They're both young
airport
at heart.
and we play cards, and I just loved, and I loved playing because if you beat them, it was hilarious. But also they were so competitive.
Yeah.
That the jokes and everything that came with it. So I would sit and play cards with them every road trip, get to the hotel, go and play cards with them again. I was just hanging out with them the whole time. It was great.
I love it.
Who's the most underrated player you've ever played with? The guy that nobody talks about who deserves credit.
I would say one that probably got it a lot at the time. I mean, there's a bunch of them, but 2 that come to mind now are both Kings teammates, and I could have named a heap, but he was an MVP, and that was Kevin Lish.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I think people forget how good Kevin Lish was. People talk about Bryce and all these people, and they're a level, but Kev was one of the best players I've ever played with in
Good.
terms of
Good leader.
great guy, too nice. One of my greatest achievements is I made Kev kick a ball once at training, and then he apologized to me at weights after, saying sorry. But he was a great person. He would make big shots and make big plays. He'd defend the best player on the floor.
Mhm.
He was so good that I almost feel like if he was playing now, we would have him in these conversations of, is he one of the best imports we've ever seen, because he was that good and he won a couple of MVPs, and I just I feel like people forget so quickly once they're gone. I wasn't supposed to start those couple of years. I was supposed to come off the bench and then just end up being me and Kev. And you just had this feeling of confidence when you walked out with Kev, because you knew that he'd make big plays, he'd play his ass off, and you just had that feel like he just knew where to be at the right times, and they're the best ones. And the other one I was going to say, which I think people forgot, it was Julian Kazoo.
Okay.
Yep.
Julian Kazoo is one of the best bigs I've ever played with.
Wow.
Great hands, knew where to be, smart, great person. He was one of those guys you could just fire it at him and he'd just catch it and be like, oh, yep, lay up. Never used to dunk that
Make it
much.
look good.
Never used to dunk that much because he used to say dunking take years off your career. Now he ended up having one injury his whole career, and that was the end of him because they screwed up the surgery. But he was, that year that Drewy took over at the Kings, what people forget is Newell's came back, Kev came, Alex Marich came. Julian Kazoo was supposed to be back and starting, and Truck was supposed to be off the bench. Truck is Alex Marich.
Yeah.
Yep.
but Jules never made it back.
Okay.
And this is the one, timing and luck in the NBL is a big reason.
Well, that's it. One big injury for a big, and it's
and for us,
game over. Yeah.
if we had him, I don't see how we weren't around the mark. We just missed out on playoffs by a game, but we would have been close to winning it with Jules.
Yeah.
Talking about bigs, Sam Menenga.
Yeah, great signing for them to keep.
Yeah.
There's got to be clauses in that contract with all the NBA and Europe chatter.
Yeah.
I'd
no
say
way.
so.
There's
But
no
I'd
way
also
they
say
can
they
sign.
ponied up and said, we don't want to lose you and
Yeah.
we're willing to pay what you're after. Because the thing is, too, you got to, like I said before, for Sam now, he's in China right now.
Is he 100% healthy? Because every time I watched him play, he was limping off. There's always something. You reckon he's 100% healthy?
Well, he did hurt himself later in the year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would probably say not. Because he came back from the
Wrist.
injury.
But even
think
the
he
last game I
he
saw, he
wanted
was,
that,
limping off. He was limping off. I
he
just
wanted
feel like
that
there's
most
something.
improved
Yeah.
nod. so
Yeah,
he
but
came back and dropped
he
a
looks
bomb
like
that
such a-
last game.
He looks like such a beast on the court, right? He looks like sometimes he's a man against kids
Yeah.
the size of him. And, you know, do you think maybe he's one of those players in a couple of years or even now that he could be NBA ready?
I think his style of game can help. But the one thing that was brought up to me once again on my show was, who does he defend? And that's what a lot of those guys look at. Like, who does he defend in the NBA? Not what can he do offensively, but who does he defend? Does he defend fours or fives?
Probably falls.
And so I think that's the part they would look at. But I think for him now, he could find a great place of, I play in the NBL, then I go to China or wherever and get paid a lot of money for that couple of months and then come back and...
I know it's a bit of a weird segue, but, you know, I love just talking about bigs and seeing where the conversation goes. And we touched a bit on it last week with AJ Ogilvy about how the style of big has changed, especially more in the NBA. When he was coming through, it was turning into a DeMarcus Cousins. There was explosive athletic ability. Now the big doesn't have to be as explosive. You guys got like like Jokic, you know, that he could probably jump about that far off the ground, but he's the best player in the NBA. With someone like a Meninga, and obviously having to defend guys that are probably a lot taller than him, like where do you think where's the game going? Have you seen? Obviously, the NBA is now not as explosive as they are as explosive, but you don't need it. Are you seeing that in the NBL, that transition?
No, not as much. I think we're still very FIBA where across the board it hasn't changed. It's still changed. Like a lot of the bigs now are shooting threes. Like that part has definitely changed. Like you look at even Geordie Hunter this year.
Yeah.
Bloke who barely shot a three in his first however many years. This year probably shot more in 1 year than he did his whole career. So it's definitely a thing. I think for Sam, his ability, because he is strong, his ability to play inside and out is an advantage, especially over here and in those European leagues.
Yeah.
Where in the NBA, as you said, they're all kind of, you're not a supreme athlete over there, where maybe here he is one of the better athletes. So I think that helps over here.
I don't think he played inside enough this season. They sat him out. I don't know whether that was a Petri thing or that was a Sam decision. But every time he got the ball in the paint, he'd dominate, and I don't think he maximised that.
I've always said it's with guards and bigs. When they start to shoot the ball well, they fall in love with it. So that's kind of what they just resort to instead of like, hang on a second, you're actually really good at getting to the ring. That should be your fallback option. So I think sometimes with those guys, once they get comfortable with it, it's now about, yes, I need to use it, but I can't lose what I'm really good at, which is playing off the block, playing off elbows.
You just look so good when you start hitting that shot, though.
Oh, it's
from
nice.
from the outside,
That feeling.
that you know, you're 6'10", you're like, oh, I can do this all day, and then you go 0 for 8 the next game. You're like, all right, back to the inside. Here we go.
Back to playing rebounder and passer.
Exactly.
You're obviously still playing NBL 1. Is it frustrating to a point yet? Like, have you lost it, or are you still like?
Look at this guy. He's in incredible shape.
You know what I mean? Like,
No,
you know
I know exactly what you're talking
when you know you know what you should be doing, and you start to not be able to do it, and you just start getting angry at yourself.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I know. Happened to
Thanks
me at
for
20.
reminding me. No, I'm going through that. I went through it last year, which was weird. I feel almost better going into this season than I did last NBL 1 season, but I think the one thing I downplayed was when you retire. Like I used to say as I got older, when the end of the season would hit, that next day I would wake up so sore. Like way sorer than I did at any stage during the season.
Mentally.
Because mentally, it was like my body just said, you're done. You don't have to get up for training. So it was like this week, you're barely going to be able to walk. And so I felt like when I retired, that's kind of what happened. but I was still trying to play. So I felt like my whole body was like, you're in an office all day. You're doing this. What are you doing? What are you doing? So I am going through that. I've got to the point now where I also...
Standards are starting to
Yeah.
lower.
Yeah, but you've got that veteran savvy where
I can still do a
you
lot
know
of things, but like the thing for me was like,
you can work. You can not work as hard and still be there, while the young guys, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You can use that.
I've got
that prowess.
at Bankstown this year, I've got good pieces around me. And once Jalen started playing last year, it was the same. The hardest part was, though, I was being doubled, denied at half court. Like all those things that I was used to, but I could still have 40 or 50 doing that. Where now I'm like, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So it is getting used to that part. But I'm also, I don't feel like I have an ego because I'm a sports person. So we all have one. But I don't feel like that.
Hey, none of us have egos on this show.
But I don't feel like that. Like it plays on me, as in I'm like, oh, you need to be doing this. It's like I kind of did that, and now I'm here because I want to play still and help other guys, and I want to win. But it's past me now. Like I just...
Is that the reason for still playing then? Just so you can obviously keep fit, but stay in the community and mentor the young
Yeah, I think so. And part of me was like, I didn't retire because I physically was done. I retired because I had an opportunity that was different, that I thought, I know what basketball looks like. What does this look like? So I just thought if I was to stop cold turkey, it might have played the other way, where being able to just still Tuesday, Thursday nights, I get an outlet to go and scrimmage and play and train. And then on weekends, I get to play now we're in. So I think it's still an outlet for me. And it hasn't got to the stage where I'm like, all these young guys are running loops around me and I'm really frustrated, but it's probably not far away.
Have to give a shout out to Step One. So I went down to Melbourne recently.
Oh, this is a good story.
I don't know how this happens, but they lost my luggage between Sydney and Melbourne. And I don't know. I just gave Jason a call. I'm like, yo, can you help me out? Got back to my hotel. Step Ones galore. Like, you literally saved the day.
We got a
have
call.
no
She's like, I have no luggage.
I
have no
lost my
clothes."
luggage on the way here. I need something, please. That one, help me
But
out.
also, love the stuff.
No, it's great.
It's
Well, that's
awesome.
like, it's funny. People are like, oh, yeah, you work for them. But I'm like, yeah, I work for them because originally it started, I met the founder. I started working. It was a classic athlete brand.
Yep.
Instagram, can we send you some stuff? Sure. Like, as a bloke, which I now know, blokes normally don't actually pay attention to what they wear. They just wear what they're given. I wore these undies and I was like, these are incredible. And then all of a sudden, Sobes and the other boys are like, what are they? How do I get some of those? And so it started off purely just a great product.
Yeah.
And then it turned into a job. But it is good stuff. That's felt like part of me was like, well, I didn't retire for no reason. I retired because this stuff's really good.
I put it on and I was like, okay.
Yep,
Like,
that's what we
strap
strive
myself
for.
Yeah.
in front of that hotel mirror. This is all right.
Mate, you're looking like you're very much comfortable in front of that mic. Obviously, seen you in front of the mic this year with the NBL. What's that transition been like when obviously you get to commentate on what's happening on the court, but you also have to be aware that you probably played with a lot of these players at the same time pretty recently?
When I retired, I was like, not watching the NBL next year. Not because I knew I would, but as in like the NBL for 15 years has dictated my whole life between September and April, basically.
Yep.
So I was like, I got a year off. Like, I don't have anything on weekends. I won't watch any games. Like, maybe if I'm in front of the TV, I will. But then next minute, do you want to do the podcast? Oh, sure, I guess so. Do you want to do commentary? Oh, sure, I guess so. And I'm happy I said yes because I've enjoyed the different part of basketball. Like, I was thinking, like we just talked before at the Razorbacks, like I was the floor wiper. I first started walking the mascot around. That was my first job, to help him take his head off when he would get back. So I started doing that when I was 8.
That's a great story.
Cute.
Then I went to
Yeah.
floor wiping. And
Yeah.
then one year they asked me to be the DJ at the game. So I was playing the music at games. I had the full big board with all the buttons on it.
So good.
Then I went into being a player. And now I'm a commentator. So I've done a bit of everything. But I really enjoyed being able to speak the game. And the one thing that I feel like, I'm not there to roast someone. I'm not there to make it more, like, that's not my job. I'm not a media personality. Sure, I'm doing stuff in that space, but I'm just there to speak what I see. So if someone goes 0 for 10, I'm not going to say, oh, they're shooting the ball great tonight. I'm just going to comment on that right there. And I think that's what I really enjoy, just being able to speak what I'm seeing, It's nothing more than what I'm seeing. Once the game's over, I go, and the next game, I talk about that game. I think that's for me where I could find a balance.
Have you had any feedback from players and things? Because quite often other commentators might say, oh, so-and-so's been blowing up my phone about this, or they weren't happy with what I said here, that kind of thing. Have you had any of that?
Not that. I've actually had players message me saying you did a great job.
Oh, cool.
So that was kind of cool. And I'm always, like, there's guys, you're going to help your mates out when you can. So there's guys that, if they're struggling, I'm going to say they're struggling, but maybe why they're struggling and try and help.
Yeah.
I think the greatest example I have is Zave. Start of the year, I had a lot of Kings games. Zave was struggling. And I'm like, yeah, he is struggling. And I said that. But on face value, I'm like, he's also struggling because KD, Delhi, him. That doesn't all work at one time. And Zave's a secondary ball handler for most offenses. That's how he gets into the game. That wasn't there. And so part of me was like, everyone can talk about Zave, and yes, he's free throw shooting. I messaged him saying, mate, if you want to work on stuff, let's go. Yes. But part of me was like, he is playing not great for him, but there's reasons as to why. And then you've seen the shift, and all of a sudden, oh, Zave's playing really well again. It's like, yeah, of course. Like, he's a good player. So I think the one thing I've loved is maybe it's easy to sit there and say, oh, he's shit tonight. But what are you really telling people? Like, that's not who I am as a person to just be like, oh, someone's crap, they're playing terrible.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, there's normally reasons for this, especially for the guys who have been some of the top tier guys. There's reasons, like Bryce, for example, in the grand final series. Why is he struggling? Well, he's struggling because everything you said.
Yeah.
Length, size, throwing numbers at him, doing.
Yep.
That's why. It's not because he just had an off night. There's reasons to this stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
So you've been a DJ, played, I can't even remember what you said before that. Now media, would you continue? Are you looking to get into the front office of teams or coach at any point in the future?
If you asked me 12 months ago, or not, you say longer, 18 months ago before I retired, I would have moved into an assistant coach. Like, that was my headset, was I would go. And the conversation even started in Adelaide a little bit of, what do you want to do? Do you want to play? Do you want to go to be an assistant? Like, Mike brought it up with me. Do you want to be my assistant? Do you want to play? Like, I'm on board with whatever you want to do. Now that I'm out of it, I think I'm enjoying the business side of everything and learning different stuff and being able to almost, once you're in that environment, it strips you down. Like, if I was to go coach, I would be doing less of this stuff.
Yeah.
You'd
be back to that restrictive.
Yeah, and you can't speak as freely. So I'm actually enjoying seeing what comes of this. I have no doubt, like, I'm 34, I have no doubt in the next 10 to 15 years I'll end up on a bench somewhere or in a front office, just because my dad did it, my uncle. I've just been so entrenched in that, and I feel like I'm honest enough to know that I have a pretty good understanding across the board on that. But I'm kind of enjoying seeing this whole different side of the world in a way, because, as I said, basketball's been all I've known.
Jace is waiting for the Sydney expansion team before he takes up a job in the front office.
100%, I think.
Only if it's called the Razorbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Would you like to see more invested in Aussie coaches as well? Obviously, you mentioned the fact that it's American heavy. Will Weaver's just come in to the Bullets, but there are probably 3 other coaching jobs at least, potentially 4, up for grabs in this off-season.
Yeah, I just think, like, the reason why Weaver is a good signing for most of all is because he knows Australian basketball. That's the difference.
Gem of a human too.
Yeah, and he's a great guy. He's been around the Boomers. He knows the NBL, where some of these guys coming in have no idea what the NBL is. Now, Josh King's been probably one of the better ones. Chase Buford was a good one. Obviously, he was good with Sydney, but he also was well-resourced at Sydney. So there's some that have been great stories, and there's some not so great. But I just think there's some guys around, like Sam McKinnon for me. How has he not got one chance to be a head coach? Shitty situation in Brisbane, where he takes over the group. The group finally actually goes, oh, thank God we've got someone here that makes some sense.
Yeah.
They give him an ultimatum of GM or coach. Anyone in their right mind just stays as a GM because they can sack the coach. They can't sack the GM
100%.
without a payout.
All day.
Exactly. Like, he's got a family. And then all of a sudden, it's like he never gets another opportunity. He takes over Southeast before Josh King. The wheels start turning. They win a game instantly. And then Josh takes over. So he kind of helped that process. But I just look at people like that and say, how does he not get a chance to coach? And if he can't get a chance, he's one of the best ever NBL players. What chance is anyone else?
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
Off field, but kind of still talking about the Bullets. They put something on social media yesterday asking the players what their biggest basketball ick was.
Oh,
It just made me chuckle.
the ick.
Most of the guys said ankle socks.
Damien
or short-
Martin.
Yeah.
I used to think you wore no
Um,
socks.
Mitch Norton said the too small celebration.
Ah, yeah,
was a
that's-
basketball
Ah.
ick of his. But it totally got me thinking. I'm like, oh, what's your biggest basketball?
that I said the
Players that do this all the time is a
the
big
review,
one.
the review. Yeah, I
not
might
a
have done a
fan.
few of those.
Not a fan.
No, the too small thing. Like I remember, I think Jock Landale did it to me. Maybe was it Jock or maybe it was, and I was like, "You're 6'10", mate. Like, of course I'm too small. Like,
It's
you
funny.
should score on me on the block.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
6'10". So if you don't score, do I do the too small thing to you? Like, or if I make a 3 over, do you? I go too tall.
Yeah.
Like it's dumb.
Wait, let's bring that in. Too tall.
One of the best ones was though, and I'm gonna
I like it.
say his name, Anthony Petrie, who played. He said if someone did the rock the baby to me, he goes, the next thing they'd be rocking is himself to sleep. He's like, you want to rock the baby, mate? He goes, I'll put you to sleep, and we'll see whose baby you're really rocking. But I just like,
I think it only works. The too small is if you drive on a big or dunk or get a crazy layup over a big, then you can do it. The other way just doesn't make sense.
yeah, if there's a massive dunk room, I don't mind the 3-point celebrations and if someone
The
dunks at
3-point's
the
fine.
reactions,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's the overreacting ones. Like, and when I say rock the baby, I'm not talking about Brucey's one. That's different.
Yeah, that
I'm
was.
talking about when someone scores on the block and they act like it's a little baby. I'm like, come on, mate.
Yeah.
But I think it's the ones that are like,
But the fun ones are good. Are Dame Time, Steph going to
yeah, like
that's-
those ones are
those
fun.
You almost earn the right to do
You,
that.
they earn the right. Exactly right.
Too small in those ones. Come on.
Yeah. I tell you what my ick is, that Hungry Jacks have brought in that you have to use the code for the 2 free burgers if you miss the free throws. Because back in the day, I used to just go to a Hungry Jacks after a game and said, oh, this player missed 2 free throws and get burgers.
I've got a really good story about that if you just want to hear it.
Yeah. Tell us.
We played in Adelaide and we all went out after. And on that, Will Magnay missed 2 free throws. He was only young at the time. And
Yeah.
so we're all in a taxi. Like our whole team went out together. We're all in a taxi. Let's go through Hungry Jacks. And this is when like it was not new, but it had been
Yeah.
around. We're like, we don't
There's
have
no app
tickets or
though.
anything.
Yeah.
So we just rolled in and we're like, can we go get cheeseburgers? We're at the game tonight. And they were like, oh, I was like, this guy's the one that missed the free throws. And we showed a photo of Will in an outfit. And they were like, how many of you? They were like, 10. They're like, yeah, sure.
Perfect.
That was
is
like one
so
of the
good.
great stories of just like, yeah, he's the one that missed it. Can we please get
Oh,
burgers?
that's such
Oh,
a great,
poor
that's
Will.
great thing great little marketing piece by the Hungry Jacks.
Also,
Well, I think weren't you responsible for
Yep.
it?
I'm still waiting for Jack to
Really?
give me my gold card.
You were.
Yeah.
Tell us about this story.
We played in the first ever NBA game in Utah.
Okay.
And the second half, like we were down, it was a good game. We were down 15-20 most of the game.
Mhm.
The second half, the crowd was going bonkers when we shoot free throws. And we're like, what's going on? Apparently, if we miss 2 free throws, they all got falafels or something. We land, and
That's such a
and then the
bizarre
next
thing.
day, I think we had the opening, the announcement of Hungry Jack's joining at George Street.
Oh yeah.
Jack was there,
Yeah.
and Lauren, who worked for the NBL at the time, was there, and they were like, we need to come up with something fun. I go, why don't you give cheeseburgers out? I was like, they did this in Utah. They went crazy. Why don't we do it with cheeseburgers? If he's willing to give up cheeseburgers. Next minute, that's
Genius.
the promotion. And it's like,
this is the original story of how it came about.
except
This is
now,
great.
like, people like Lauren used to come to me, I need an idea for Mitsubishi. I was like, I don't know. That one was a
Just give
struggle.
2 Mitsubishis every time.
Yeah. I told them the 3-point one. They've gone with it. I don't know how it's gone, but now I'm in partnerships with Step One.
I was going to say you need to
Ah.
start being.
Yeah.
People reference, like, as in the greatest promotion in sports that everyone's after is the Hungry Jacks NBL. And I'm like,
No, you
well,
need- you
if I
need
could
to-
bring that up,
You need to
name
hit-
association or something.
You
like
need
that,
royalties. You need
yeah.
to be on the Wikipedia page.
I
for
just
that.
like a gold card that I never have to pay for Hungry Jacks. So
Yeah.
I've got Jack's number. I might just keep chasing him up about it.
Do it. We're going to play a bit of a game just now and do some quickfire questions with you, or quickfire names, sorry.
Okay.
So need the first thing that comes to mind when you hear.
These scare me.
Do they?
Yeah. Go.
You'll start with Patty Mills.
Australian legend.
Paige Beckers.
Who's that? Oh, no. I'm
What?
tripping out. Sorry. I was thinking of someone else. I was thinking Australians. So I was like, Australian Paige. She, first thing that comes, she's going to be one of the better WNBA players we've ever seen by the end of her career. She's really good
Yeah.
and like good to watch.
For sure.
Yeah.
Bryce Cotton.
Modern day goat of an NBL.
Justin Timberlake.
DUI.
DUI.
I watched a video last
Oh
night
my
of him
gosh.
getting arrested.
That is
Have you seen it?
Yes,
It was so awkward.
yeah. It's
Well, I legit watched that last
That is the
night.
best word association ever on.
But we
off the
could
rim.
say musical genius and has had some very good-looking partners
People are
over
gonna-
his time. So
Oh.
say
I'm
Very
not
good.
able to describe what he does for a living, but sure. Brad Newley.
Newell's is one of the best Australian basketballs we've had that's played overseas in terms of the career he's made, and he took me under his wing when I first was in the Boomers as a 17-year-old. So
Nice.
I owe Newell's a lot.
Nice. Travis Kelce.
Smart man. He just re-signed for a massive deal
He
too.
did.
Yeah,
didn't he?
yeah.
Dash Daniels.
He'll be an NBA player and will be similar to his brother, but I don't think he's will ever be as good as his brother.
Okay.
And I mean that with respect. I think people downplay how good Dyson is sometimes when
Yeah.
talking about Dash.
Is Dash draft ready this season?
No. No, he needs another year or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Just offensively. Defensively, he's ready. Defensively, he's ready. He can
Mhm.
go and play in the NBA right now.
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, he just needs time to find himself offensively, and I don't think finding himself there will help.
Yeah, he hasn't had the opportunities here.
No, he needs
either.
to. And is he a point guard or is he a two-man?
Still working it out.
Yeah.
I said two, man. I didn't put this list together, so Adele. Thanks, Joe.
What? What's wrong with Adele?
Beautiful singer.
Right?
Yeah,
Got some
Not
really,
someone I
really
would
good
have thought. Not
songs.
someone I would have thought of. She is a beautiful singer, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of Basketball Association, but slightly removed.
Okay.
What's her
Where-
basketball
how-
association?
Producer Ash, help me out. What's her husband's name? Who's LeBron's agent?
Oh,
Paul.
Rich Paul.
I was thinking Jake Paul. I'm like, no, Rich Paul.
Oh, that's
her
right.
So she's always courtside at games and things like that.
Yeah, fair enough.
There you go.
Tiger Woods.
Which version? I think of Tiger Woods golf on PlayStation.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to see Tiger. I was only young, but hell of a golf player.
And Xavier Cooks.
Someone I wished I played a full season with.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Never got. I played with him in different Boomers things, and when he was younger, I wish I got to play a year in the NBL with Zave
Mm-hmm.
because he just makes everyone better.
To continue the fun, we're going to have a new segment. It's going to be called Who Am I? So I'm going to give one fact
Mm.
and then see who can get it first. If you're watching, you can play along at home as well. So I'll get started. If you get it, so basically I was born in 1997. This is an NBA. This is NBA player, by the way.
NBA player.
Okay, so I'll give different facts.
Okay.
I'm sure no one will get it from that. I played for the Kentucky Wildcats.
Okay.
Anyone?
Devin Booker.
No. I was drafted in 2017.
Spider.
No.
He can play for Carl Anthony Towns.
No.
He play for
I have played in 2 Olympics.
Anthony Davis.
No.
What?
I have played in 2 NBA finals.
Hang on a second. Tyrese is too young. Bam?
We have a winner.
Get
Joe Healy. Well done.
I didn't know he.
What do we win?
Step one is
Step
step
one.
one.
Step one.
Step one.
one.
Step one
Today's
is
prize
provided.
is
Take
step
another
one.
delivery,
Provided.
please. Do you have another one, or are we done?
No, that's it. We're just gonna do
Awesome.
do one today.
For anyone watching, how do we keep up with you? Watch the podcast, buy step ones.
Buy step ones. You just go to step1.life. That's that simple.
Mhm.
And the rest you can do. You can just go and order what you need. Cut to the Jace. So that's with basketball.com.au. So that's been really good. Normally weekly. We keep talking about having a break. We just haven't had a break yet. But no, we try and bring guests on all the time. The greatest thing for me about doing that, and back to what we spoke about before, was just I don't talk just about the NBL. I talk about all things basketball. We bring on people from all different colleges to NBA to NBL to juniors. Like I just
Nice.
get to talk about all things basketball, which I think is really, really cool. So, no, it's been good fun.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
No, you're welcome.
Beautiful studio.
Awesome.
We try.